Appreciate everybody being here. Just you know, I'm really excited and happy for our players after last week. Coming off a real tough week, I thought they responded and really played probably one of our most complete games of the year on Saturday night against an incredibly balanced, tough, well-coached Oklahoma team. I thought our crowd was special. I thought our players, though, were really special. Coming out of halftime, third quarter was about as good as we've played all year, offensively and defensively. And just, we need to continue to get better, continue to work. And it doesn't get any easier, obviously. You got number 6 in the country coming in here. Bill Finley's got a heck of a team, another offensive juggernaut. You can't take any plays off. You can't take any plays off at any position. Every player can beat you. Every player can get 30 if you're not careful. So, well-run team. Their point guard does an incredible job running that team and getting the ball to the right people, and herself can score the ball as well. So, obviously everybody talks about Jones, but I bet if Jones was up here, she would not only she would probably talk about her teammates because they're all so talented. She's certainly another All-American type player that we run into now. Again, it seems like we have somebody every week that is really, really special, and she's certainly that. But the thing is, you lose your focus, and just like Oklahoma, I felt like Oklahoma, you fall asleep at any position and they find that person. And that's what happened the first half. We'd fall asleep at every spot every now and then, and they'd find that person. And so I think the same's with Iowa State. Bill, again, tremendous coach. His staff does a tremendous job. And their players, it's just they're really locked in. They have great chemistry, and they play so well together. And, the advantage, I think, too, is anytime you get sisters, whether they're twins or just family members on the floor together, there's an additional chemistry that you have to deal with. And so we've got our hands full. But I'm excited about my team. I'm excited about last week and how we really grinded out a great win Wednesday. And then really Saturday night was really special with how they played and how our fans supported them. So this time of year, it's the middle of February, and every game's a big game. Every week's a big week. So this is kind of what the dog days of August, September out on the track are all about to get to this point. And in my mind, this is when you win games. You win games in February, but what you did in September and October in preseason conditioning. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Vic, how different is – it's obviously different with the sisters back, but how different is the actual approach to beating them with them back on the – I mean, does much change in the way you beat them in Ames?
Well, when we played them in Ames, we didn't know that they weren't going to play till middle of shoot-around, like at 1. So our preparation was the same, and it didn't change just because, quite frankly, I didn't know if it was true or not. We didn't know till we showed up and they weren't out there warming up. So obviously their team is really special and different with them on the floor. And so we're going to have to, it's kind of unique in that we get two of the best offensive teams in the league back-to-back that play the same way, spread you out, shoot the three. And so it's really a unique challenge, and they're just really hard to guard. But we'll have to. We've got some experience, obviously, guarding and defending, and at the same time, we're going to score some points. And my concern is we haven't really strung together some really good offensive nights. We'll have one good one, and then we can go 3 or 4 and kind of struggle. So I'm anxious to see us continue to develop chemistry-wise offensively. And again, it's we've had some kids step up and play better here in the last couple of weeks, and we've had some other kids that were playing well earlier in the year. They're kind of struggling right now, and that's what makes a team, right? Somebody's always stepping up. Somebody struggles, somebody stubs a toe, somebody rolls an ankle. You got to have other people step up. So I think right now Shay Holly is taking advantage of her opportunities and is playing at a very high level. Latasha Lattimore, same thing. Those two kids have really impacted our team. And the challenge for me now is to make sure that I continue to get it from them and at the same time keep working with everyone else to make sure that they continue to work and get better because we're going to need everybody. You know, it's just the way it is. So you got to keep that I told them on Saturday night, practice is Monday. It's open tryouts again. I've obviously had a really fluid starting lineup. And you look at my bench, everybody's playing almost double-digit minutes. So just want them to continue to work and get better.
Why is offense so much harder for consistency? And part two is, since Joe can't guard all five, where do you put her? Who's she going to chase this time?
Yeah.
After Robertson.
The thing about Joe is her and Audrey really provide me some flexibility. And you can kind of rotate them on the other team's best player or players. Because of their size, they can move up and down the lineup a little bit. They're probably not going to guard anybody's fives, but they can guard 1 through 4. The offensive piece, y'all, is just really, I think it has to do more with, we only have 2 kids shooting 50% from the floor. And it drops off significantly from there. And so I think it's a offense is obviously a skill set, and our inside players need to finish more. We're not shooting the ball like we need to down there. Although I thought Lauren had a really good game the other night. She was 3 out of 6 with 14 rebounds, 5 offensive, and did an incredible job. And so we just got to continue to work down there, and I'm not going to stop throwing it inside. We want the ball inside. We want to play inside out. That's the thing Lauren does allow you to do is she's a good assist player, sometimes almost to a fault. I'd like her to be a little more selfish and finish a little more. But, the first time that we played in Ames, we had some kids step up and play really well that night. And you remember we didn't have Lauren. We didn't have a player either that night, a starter. So,
Coach, the way you talk about Iowa State and how good they are, why do you feel like you guys have a chance in this one?
Well, I think we've proven over the course of the season, no matter who we play, if we play well and we play right, we can play with anybody in the country. I think our kids are. I think we have a great team too. Quite frankly, I love my team. I think we're gritty, we're tough, we're continuing to get better and grow. And man, I ain't trading them for nobody. I think we're really trying to embrace an identity on how we play the game and what our style is. It was pretty exciting the other night now, stealing the ball and laying it in, getting some turnovers and being in, passing lanes, things like that. And I think that's the way we need to play. That's, again, you get 4 layups in a game, that improves your shooting percentage usually about 5 percentage points. And I think we shot 47% for the game, which is closer to 50 than 42. So I think that's what our kids are learning, just like last year. They're kind of learning to embrace that this is who we are. We better guard. And that what was so frustrating in the first half. We had the 10 turnovers the first quarter, and we gave up 38 points. That's pretty uncharacteristic of us. But I thought they came out the second half and really got locked in and did some nice things defensively that turned into some easy offense for us. And again, that's my vision for our program, getting our crowd involved, getting them excited. You're in the press, you're turning people over, you're laying it in, you're getting back after them. That's the environment that's fun to watch.
Joanne, what are you crediting to the improvement on defense that you all have made recently? Are you just concentrating more, or is just things kind of becoming a little bit more easy for y'all? What do you?
I feel like chemistry kind of comes together in February for one, and then I think it's just a focus piece. Like sometimes, when we have mishaps on defense, it's because we're just not locking in fundamentally. Like we're not looking at the ball, or we're not seeing the ball, or we're just resting. So I think we're doing less of we're just having more focus defensively, and it's turning into a good overall game because we're just more focused.
Is there something the guards can do to get get better shots for the big kids when you have a height advantage like the other night?
Like create more for our bigs inside. I think we just have to look for them. Yeah, that's really the biggest piece. Like sometimes as a guard, you're so locked into like what's going out on the perimeter, like, and you forget to just check inside. Like your post might be sealing, and then just making good passes. It's really a focus piece for us because turnovers have been a problem, but just making good passes and checking for them. Yeah.
Joe, after that win over Oklahoma, you talked about feeding off the crowd's energy. How important is another big energized crowd against another really good team?
Oh yeah, we need the crowd. I think like it just makes it so much fun. Like I mean, we're playing basketball, we're working extremely hard, and like it's like I'm doing what I love, and I think when the crowd is just energizing us, like it's just there's no other feeling like it. I don't know how to describe it. Like my adrenaline is already running. Nobody has to be in the gym for me to be on 10 about the game. But like when the crowd is there, like it's everything. It's everything. Yeah.
Vic, when you hear your player kind of almost be at a loss for words, just to after the pandemic and not being able to play in front of crowds, to have that experience for your players and just to, as you said, your vision. Again, another tough matchup to get that vision to continue to see through.
Yeah, for sure. Again, our kids warrant it, and they're fun to watch. I mean, how can you not come to a game, bring your kids with you, and when the game's over and you're walking out and, your daughter, your son, and they play little dribbler basketball or whatever, how can you not look at them and go, hey, you saw how Joanne plays. I want you to play like Joe. I want you to play hard like her. I want you to play hard like Audrey Warren. I want you to be tough. I want you to learn how to, you see how she fell over when that person ran over her? I want you to learn how to do, I mean, how can any parent not want their kid to not only play like her, but she's got a 3.7 in engineering, for God's sake. So, I mean, what a great role model, right? And what somebody to want your kid, your son, your daughter to play like. And again, that's what made it so special the other night was we had all those kids in the arena and they all stuck around after the game and wanted autographs, wanted pictures. And that's what's great for our kids. And, that's what I'm used to. I met with our people earlier today when we were talking about the new arena and the seating and season tickets and just how special that place is going to be. And how people need to get in, they need to get their tickets early, and because there's going to, like we're showing now, I think our program is going to continue to grow and get better, and there's going to be a day when people are going to be mad that they can't get their if they buy general admission season tickets, that means they got to get there early to sit in the seat they want to sit in, and then if you grow your program now, they're not going to be able to get that seat because those seats are gone for general admission. Now they're reserve season tickets. And so now they're going to spend a little bit more money to get the reserve season ticket. And so that's kind of how it works. But, I think our kids they warrant it. They're exciting. They're fun to watch. I love coaching them. I mean, it's fun for me over there now watching them, play that hard. Aaliyah Mathara the other night, who I've really, coached really hard to get her to play hard defensively. She didn't make the play at Oklahoma, but they run the same set and she gets a steal on the same set and goes and lays it in. That's what coaching is, y'all. That's rewarding as a coach to see that in live, right there live, right in front of you. Go, hey, she got it. I showed her on film. We talked about it. She makes that play. That's what it's all about. So, and that's exciting for our fans.
You get Joe to influence the others like that so that you don't have to constantly tell them to make that play or get out on the shooter or whatever?
Well, I think, I've told our freshmen before, you want to know what gets you on the floor? Play like Joe. It's not about scoring. It's not about, how many points you get. It's playing like Joe. You want to look at what a pro looks like every day. I'm talking about earning your check pro, not necessarily a pro basketball player. I'm just talking about a pro in the workplace. You want to know what a pro looks like? Somebody that brings their hard hat and their lunch pail every day to practice? Look at Joe. I don't ever have to worry about her not working hard, not being on time, having an attitude, not being focused. That's not one I have to worry about. And that's what I want our young kids to understand. It's not about coming in and, well, I got to score. I get an open shot. I got to make that. No, that's not it. That's not it at all. It's the other things that Joe brings to the table. And again, when I took that time out in the second quarter the other night, about the first 30 seconds was Joe's. She wasn't real happy with her team, and she handled the first 30 seconds of the timeout. Well, you know what? You're getting somewhere when you got a player that'll step up and demand it of her teammates. And again, because of how she plays, not because of how many points she averages, but because of how she plays the game, she has that credibility that you want anybody on your team to have that's going to try to lead your group. You can't lead somebody if you aren't setting the example. Joe sets the example every day.
Joe, over the past few games, Baylor, Tech, OU, what have you learned about this team, your team?
That we're still growing. And if we just lock into the game plan, we have a chance every night. Yeah. And the games that we lost, we lost focus from the game plan at times, like the Baylor game. We executed at home. We executed at home the first half, and then we lost focus of the game plan the second half. So, like, if we just lock into the game plan and do what the coaches tell us to do, we have a chance every night. And we're just still growing in that area.
Is that easier said than done?
It's always easier said than done. It's always easier said than done.
How much of holding down Robertson was just Joe, and how much of it was, getting help, trying screens or whatever?
Yeah, I think Joe would tell you it's a team effort. We switch a lot, so Joe didn't have her the whole night.
Yeah.
There were certain times when we switched on certain, exchanges and things like that, ball screens, depending on who's setting the ball screen, whether we're hedging it or switching it. So it's like Joe said, it's a focus and every possession, knowing what we're doing and how we're doing it. Iowa State's going to be the same way. Y'all, they just made 19 threes. 57 points, if my math is correct, off threes. That's an ungodly number. Like, that's incredible. And they all, when you watch their team from this year from last year, they've all developed and added something to their game. And they've added, whether it's the step back or whatever. And so they're really hard to guard. And if you make a mistake, how you handle a ball screen, how you handle a denial, a switch, they'll attack your pressure with pressure. They'll backdoor you. They'll do a lot of different things. And so again, it's Bill does a great job teaching his kids to read and react. And you take one thing away, then they're going to go at you here. If you take that away, they're going to go at you here. Well, now that gives me 2 days to get a team ready defensively to handle all that. And trust me, it's all that. And in just a little bit of this. So, again, I think Joe, Audrey, both, they may start on somebody, but through actions and certain plays, somebody else may end up on them. I think that's what the unique thing is right now with Tasha. Tasha's now had 3 blocks against Texas Tech. She was on the offensive boards the other night early with Oklahoma. She's a shot blocker, shot alterer, and so it just gives you another person on the floor like Deanna, and that can do those things. And again, that's a kid that's coming, y'all. I've been telling y'all that. She continues to work and get better, and just really exciting for us to see our young kids continue to get better.
Dick, at this point of the season, are you discussing net ranking and the weekly NCAA? This is what your seeds are with your team, or are you just trying to focus on the opponent?
I don't talk about it much, but Joe will tell you, I've mentioned it. And here's the reason why. Like, if we were an established program and we've been around and we've gone back to back to back top 4 seeds, top 2 seeds over the 3 or 4 years, I wouldn't even mention it because those kids would know. I don't think these kids know. It's uncharted waters for everyone, including Joe. She's never had the chance to host. She's never had that opportunity. And so I do want them to know, look, y'all, we got a lot to play for. And there is a distinct advantage if we get to do this or we get to do this. Now, there's so much basketball left. You and I both know. I mean, things can happen and it can, and so you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. But I absolutely want our kids to know we have a lot to play for and we have a lot to control. And we need to stay locked in. I mean, you're talking about 2 weeks, basically, maybe 3. And so let's lock in for the next 3 weeks. And in 3 weeks after we play on, the 7th, 5th or 7th of March, let's see where we are. But we do. We have a lot to play for. And I have mentioned just a little bit just because I want them to know. I want them to know we have a lot to play for.
Joe, how hard is it to be consistent? I think it'd be easy for us to be like, well, Texas played like they played in the third quarter. You guys would be undefeated. Like, is that realistic to expect, or how difficult is it to be consistent?
It's difficult, especially with a young team. That's why you kind of see us up and down offensively. It's hard to just be hitting on all cylinders all the time like that. It's a focus piece, and then it's just a maturity piece, making the right plays at the right time. Like it's difficult to be consistent, but as we continue to grow, I think we'll be more consistent, and I'm just hoping as the season is winding, or we're going through the season, it's not really winding down, but I hope that we find more consistency offensively. Yeah, definitely.
Coach, I saw you guys are doing a tribute to Rita Swindell, the first black player for UT women's basketball. How important is it to do things like that? And not just because it's Black History Month, in general.
Yeah, it's really critical. And I'm going to tell you, we've had some limitations and challenges since I've been here, but I want our former players to know, every one of them, they are so critical to our success in our team. I want them around our players. There's been so much success here before us, but I want our players to know the history personally, not just read about it or see a picture. But I also want our former players to know they're more than just a poster on the wall. They're more than just a picture on a, I want them to know that I need them personally involved with our program. They are really critical to me. And I haven't been able to really probably express that like I'd like to. But I do. I want them to know they are far more valuable than just a picture on a poster or a picture, hanging up in a gym. They mean the world to me and to our program, and I want them involved with all of our kids because I think they have so much to offer. And we were talking about, we are having a tribute to Retha, and so, but to me, there's so many people that deserve and need to be on that poster. It's more than just one, you know what I mean? And she certainly was the first to be here. And but man, we have so much to be thankful for because there's been so many that have gone before us. And to me, they all mean the world to our program, mean the world to Texas and to our university. And so that's the challenge that I think we have right now, is making sure. So my point as the head coach, I want them all to know they are all uniquely important to me and our program on a personal level, and I need them involved with our players. I want our players to know them personally. And so I've got to do a good job of trying to get them back here and get them around my kids. I think that's really critical, really critical. You know, Coach Page is another one that I think we're paying respect to. And again, all those things are so important, obviously, but we have a lot of people, you know, lots of players that I think really can do a lot for our kids.
Joe, to piggyback off John's questions, what are your thoughts on Retha and what she accomplished and what, you know, as a young black woman, you know, she means to kind of for paving the way for players like you?
Yeah, just personally, it's just I'm just honored to be here at Texas, like to be able to play in this uniform and to play behind people that have paved the way for me. It's a blessing. I'm just so blessed. That's what I think about when I hear Aretha's name. I'm just so blessed to be here because she opened a door for me and an opportunity for me to be here, whether she knew that or not while she was playing. But I'm just so thankful and blessed. That's all I can say.